Hey, this is Susie Q918 at sassygamers.com, and I'm just bringing you a few tips about that I've learned so far from Valheim. It's one of my favorite games. It's only been on early access for about a week, and it's doing amazing, guys. Okay, getting right to it. So we're going to start out with the plains, which is where your character starts. So we're absolutely at the beginning. The first thing you need to know is that it rains monsoon style. It doesn't look like it because it looks all peaceful and beautiful, but let me tell you, the second you don't finish a house, so if you try to build a like half house, because you'll find out very quickly that whenever you try to make your workbench needs a roof. And then of course once you get the roof, it's going to tell you that it's too exposed. So it wants at least half a house, so kind of like a little tiny caddy shack, right? Well, that's all good and great, but you also need to be able to sleep. So you need to make it a little bit bigger. But then once you sleep, you're coming really close to when it's going to start raining, and it's monsoon style. You cannot sleep when you're cold and wet. At night, it gets cold and wet. So just go ahead and make a house. Save yourself the trouble. Next tip that we've got is fire. Fire is important because you need it to go to sleep. You've got to be warm. Obviously, if you're cold, you can't sleep. So the thing about the fire though is it has to be close, but it can't be too close because you can actually set yourself on fire. So there's like, if you're imagining in game, I like to imagine it's somewhere between 10 and 15 feet, like in game feet, that you have to be from the fire. So if you're, kind of like me and you're trying to make this really cool longhouse, you can't put the fire in the middle of the house and put the bed too far away. It's got to be somehow in the circle of the fire. So just consider that. One of the things I did was I went ahead and fire also has to be on the ground. It can't be on a platform. So I just built the place around the fire pit, and that worked fine. Next thing about fire, I didn't actually include a little nudge about this, but it also needs a place to vent, and it won't go horizontal out a window. So best advice, because it's going to rain, right? So you don't want to open up the roof from it right directly over the fire. Open the roof like one tile over. And of course, make sure not to put your bed there. But the smoke, you can actually die from smoke inhalation in this game. So if you do it one tile over, then that effectively doesn't put out the fire whenever it rains, but it also gives a place for the air to go out. I was slightly annoyed, but also very happy whenever I saw that. Anyway, next point is stuff is heavy for reals. There's encumbrance. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but there's encumbrance in this game. You can carry 300 pounds, which is already pretty awesome because I don't know about you, but I can't carry 300 pounds. But in the game, you can. And that 300 pounds is going to be a different amount of stuff. I mean, that's kind of, I'm saying something that sounds kind of silly, but you can either carry a whole, a few rocks, well, actually quite a few rocks, but whatever. You can carry rocks or you can carry a whole bunch of seeds. They both weigh differently, obviously, so you need to choose. Sometimes you really want to carry a shit ton of wood, but unfortunately, if you're carrying a shit ton of rocks, you can't. So you will have to sacrifice sometimes. So that's a good reason to just keep that in mind. When you go out adventuring, make sure to empty your bags into your chest. Next one up is use chest to store everything. It doesn't seem important to have a chest at first, and no, it shouldn't be the first thing that you get, but you're going to need it soon enough, because when you start needing to accumulate things in order to craft stuff, you're going to need some place to put it. And the chests right now are of a set size. So you get, I think it's 2, 4, 6, about 8 slots, I think. I'm just guessing from memory, in order to put stuff in. So just make it count. I usually keep some rocks, but rocks are more plentiful once you get out of the beginning area. I know that sounds really dumb because there's actually rocks in the beginning area, but you will run around a little bit trying to find some. Trust me, you'll have plenty later. Don't worry about that. Anyway, next up, we are going to the Black Forest. That's the second biome. There's a lot of biomes, guys. I've only made it to the second one, and I already wanted to make a tips and tricks, so here we are. Anyway, Black Forest, it starts to get creepy, and the music gets creepier at night for good reason, because that's when raids can happen. So the first thing you need to know about creepy dwarf spawn points. I know what the real name of them are, but every time I see it, I'm like, oh god, there's another fucking creepy dwarf spawn point. They are pink, fires. And I thought they were really cool, and I thought I was going to run up there. Well, they spawn different kinds of creepy dwarves. Some of them are the easy ones, like what is it, gray dwarflings. Some of them are, oh gosh, there's like a shaman that's okay, that does some sort of necrotic poisonous blast, but they're still not that bad. The brutes suck, guys. They're a bit bigger than the others. You'll know them when you see them. They are slow, thank goodness, and they are also very forgetful sometimes. However, they hit hard and they hit fast. That's the biggest problem, because several times I thought I could just go in and whack them because I've actually got the killing power. I've been playing quite a while now, even though I kind of do it slow. I like the biome, so I haven't moved on yet. But anyway, I'll go in and try to kill them, and wha-bam, it takes about 25% of my life with each hit, and it hits fast. Like, you'd think something big and loopy like that would take a long time to swing again. Oh, heck no, it's ready to swing. By the time I block one and go to attack, it's already hit me again. So just be aware of them, run away until you know that you're ready, or if you have friends. And don't run into those spawn points on accident. I did that. Okay, next one is get out of the house. Especially when you first get to the Black Forest. Some of you are like super adventurous. Well, I was terrified. I was like, I want to go harvest, but every time I go and harvest wood, these fucking dwarflings come, because they do hear, guys. They don't have to see you. They hear or something, and they know that you're doing things. It's like the whole forest is attuned to you trying to get shit done, because they just show up, and it's not even a natural like path for them to take. I've tried different things, trust me. I don't know that it's really hearing in a game, but whatever. However it is, they know. But you have to get out of the house, because if you stay in the house too long, raids happen. Raids can happen at night if you don't just go the heck to sleep like a good little kid. Raids can happen during the day because they think somehow the game thinks you've been sitting around the house too long. So the forest will move and they will come and attack your base. So get out of the house, go do stuff, have a plan for the day, go harvest. I would suggest actually knowing exactly what you're going out to harvest first, because it helps you know what to do when you get back. But anyway, you also want to do it during rainy days, because like it was ingrained to me that I didn't want to be cold and wet. Well, cold only happens at night. You can be wet. It's annoying, but again, the days aren't going to wait for you, if that makes any sense. I've been outside of my house and it's like freaking monsoon. And then I go in the house and the clouds, you can see them on the ground, like the shadow of the clouds clear up. And I'm like, heck yeah, it's time to go outside. I go outside, the wind starts blowing and you hear it. If you're from Oklahoma or any Midwestern state, you understand, you know it's coming, and boom, it's raining again. Holy shit. And it kept doing that every time I went outside. And I was like, okay, I can't sleep yet because it's too early. It won't let me. So what the hell am I going to do? Well, then all of a sudden the forest started moving. So I'm not saying that the forest moves a lot, but I am saying that you still have to get out of the house even though it's raining. Just know that. If there's no creepy music, it's probably still safe to go outside even if it's raining. That's all I got to say about that, because creepy music is usually like your foreboding moment. Harvest away from your base, because again, like I said earlier, the things can hear you or just know that you're trying to harvest things, and they will come to you. So if you try to harvest trees and stuff, first of all, if you harvest a tree and accidentally hit your base, those trees hurt. I'll go over that more in a minute. However, the things will be attracted to where you are. So you don't want a troll to like come find your house. Because honestly, I've seen a troll walk past my house, and I've even seen it skirt around my fence and not really care. But as soon as it saw me anywhere near the house, it started attacking it, and trying to get it to go away was actually like really hard because it fixated on it. So any harvesting you're going to do, just go away from your base. Pretend it doesn't exist for a little bit. That way you have a safe place to run back to. The next one we've got is trolls. Run away from your base. So when at my first house in the Black Forest, I found a beautiful clearing. That beautiful clearing also happened to be the path for a troll. Like, it was there. Every time I walked out of my house, I had to kind of peek on the horizon and try to see that little flash of blue and the weird hairy undercarriage. And sometimes it was freaking out there and it would fixate on my house. And I'm like, gosh darn it. And so, of course, my first instinct was to hide in the house. No, bad idea, because it sits there and attacks your house. So run away from your house and then go sneak. Sneak, I think, is it's either shift or control. You can figure out whenever you're in the game. But go and hide, but you have to get a good amount away from it, but you can still see it running after you. Get out of line of sight into some brush or something and use your sneak command, and it will actually lose you. It doesn't know where you are. And just do that when you're a ways away from your base, because again, if you do it when you're right next to your base, it's going to go towards the last place that it saw you having a good time, which is probably your base. Anyway, let's see. If you have a group of friends, you might just kill the troll. That would be awesome. I have no friends. I'm just kidding. I have friends. They're just not playing the game yet. Anyway, get a fence. It really helps, because honestly, let's say the troll just decides he wants your base anyway. Like, whoops, shit happens. Well, a fence is a lot easier. First of all, it will walk around the fence, and then worst case scenario, it'll throw some rocks at your house because it can't quite get past the fence. It might whack the fence a few times, but the next time you go home, all you got to do is go to your workbench, choose the repair option, and go repair it. It's all right. But the fence helps because it's not actually whacking on your walls directly. Sounds crazy. Anyway, so I'm finally getting back to the trees. Down trees hurt. I tried to keep this as short as possible. Trees hurt you and hurt other things. I should say trees hurt other things, and they most definitely hurt you. So don't stand underneath them. It sounds like common sense, but some games don't care about that, and you're fine. This one is one that cares about it greatly. But good thing to know is I can be whacking on a tree, and here comes the damn creepy gray things. And they're wanting to catch me unawares, right? And I'm like, I know where you are. And so I keep hacking the tree. I love it when the tree falls on them because, yes, it kills them, but it's kind of like poetic justice, and it makes me feel really happy. So, yes, trees hurt you, but they also hurt other things, and they can be your friend. Next up is just a few crafting things. The crafting's not complicated, but there's a reason why I'm like 30 hours in and I just now can craft bronze armor. And it's because you have to meet these progression thresholds. You have to discover an item, or you have to craft an item, or you have to be at a certain place, or blah, blah, blah. You have to do things before you get the recipes to do stuff. So I'm still discovering what kind of really cool recipes there are out there. I'm still at the beginning of the game, guys. But helpful things to know is make bedtime chores. That sounds really stupid, but let me tell you. So, for instance, making coal. Burning wood creates coal. So you're going to take the wood, shove, I think you can put 25 pieces in at a time. Fill up it's the kiln, I think. It's either the kiln, I think it's the kiln, not the smelter. So fill up your kiln all the way. And then head off to your smelter, add I think you can put 10 metals in at once. You can put 10 metals in, and you can put 20 or 25 pieces of coal. Fill it all up, guys. Get it going. And then what's going to happen is whenever you go to sleep, theoretically 8 hours is passing. So when you wake up, you hear bam, 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 bam. When you wake up, all that stuff's already done. So you don't have to sit there and wait for that stuff to happen. You can do it while, it'll do it while you're quote unquote asleep. Other helpful things, the ratios that I know so far, we've got coal to copper. You need to have 3 coal for every 1 copper bar. The coal to tin ratio, 2 coal to make 1 tin bar. To make bronze, I believe that it is 2 copper to 1 tin. So you're going to need a lot of copper. Copper and tin deposits are both around the creepy dwarf spawn points. So it's an adventure every time. So basically when you make a dedicated day to go mining, you're deciding on that mine, and you're basically going in, getting as much as you can, and you either kill the stuff, or if you're like me, you run from the brutes because they hurt, and I don't like dying. Anyway, I hope some of this stuff has been helpful. There's a lot of other helpful things that I could probably think of, but I wanted to keep this short. I hope you all have a fantastic day and enjoy playing Valheim. Let's see what we can do out there.